The year 2016 brought with it a series of new challenges, both large and small. Some of these challenges were familiar, and a chance to work alongside established partners during well-known events. Others were unprecedented, requiring that we reach out to forge new relationships. Regardless, at each turn, our volunteers were able to step up and meet the task at hand. Tonight, we would like to acknowledge you, our volunteers, whether you have been with us from the beginning or a new face. Thank you for all you have done.
Throughout the year, volunteers have been busy assisting with local deployments. The year started and ended with a well-known event, the MCI drill for CPCC's EMT class. This event occurs twice a year, April and December, and is the culmination of the students' training, providing them a chance to triage, treat, and organize the transport of a large number of patients. The true strength of this exercise is that it allows students to treat not mannequins, but living, breathing, annoying victims. MHPC SMAT 2 provides not only the logistical support for volunteer management, but also many of the victims themselves.
The Carolina Rebellion took place May 5th through 7th in Concord at the Speedway Campground. Carolina Rebellion gave us an opportunity to provide both patient care and logistical support to regional partners including Cabarrus County EMS and CHS Northeast Events Medicine. With roughly 30,000 tickets sold for each day, this event provided no shortage of excitement. The MHPC team supported this event by providing patient care supplies, MSUs, and its restock trailer. As you can see, everyone involved stayed very busy. Despite flying turkey legs, vomit, and breast pumps, the team was instrumental in helping with a successful event.
Each May, we're fortunate enough to be involved with a traveling disaster that is NASCAR. Much like the Carolina Rebellion, this event allows us to work with one of our closest regional partners, Cabarrus County EMS. This year, volunteers were able to provide logistical support in the form of our MSU trailer during the Coca-Cola 600. Volunteers were on hand to provide operational support at the base camp and, of course, to eat.
Let's be honest, Jimmy, they came for the pickles.
Few opportunities are more rewarding than the Honor the Warriors charity bike ride. This marked the 7th annual event in which wounded warriors team up with local riders to raise money to help other wounded veterans and to engage with the community. Volunteers provided a chase vehicle during the first day as the pack rode through uptown Charlotte. The second day was a sanctioned event in which riders traveled one of 3 routes on different lengths throughout Mecklenburg County. Our volunteers were on hand staffing aid stations throughout the course, not only providing hydration and snacks for participants, but also rendering first aid as needed.
During the fall, Western North Carolina experienced a series of wildfires, sending heavy smoke and ash throughout the region. SMAT volunteers again stepped up, making a road trip to deliver nearly 4,000 N95 masks to Graham County Public Health in Franklin, North Carolina.
In addition to local and regional deployments, volunteers contributed countless hours throughout the year assisting special events, supporting warehouse operations, and participating in hands-on training. November's Tough Mudder was one special event. Held over 2 days in nearby Mount Pleasant, MHPC volunteers provided additional manpower in order to help keep the event safe and fun. One of the most important, if not tedious, accomplishments this year has been warehouse support. Volunteers spent their time helping us to streamline and organize our warehouse inventory. This was a massive undertaking that would have been impossible to accomplish if not for the hard work of our volunteers. Throughout the year, volunteers set aside time to come train in the warehouse. This training provided both a chance to become familiar with the equipment as well as invaluable team building skills.
Hurricane Matthew arrived as only the second Category 5 hurricane since Felix in 2007, affected the entire southeastern United States. In what will be the largest SMRS deployment since its inception, Matthew challenged the state and the region. The MHPC volunteers were crucial to our response throughout all phases of the storm.
The initial impact was felt locally. As the storm approached, the Charlotte region became home to approximately 200 long-term care evacuees. Volunteers were crucial in maintaining warehouse operations, as we literally emptied the warehouse of our cots.
The event was dynamic, with information and orders changing seemingly by the hour. After a series of false starts, volunteers helped to organize and deploy ambulance strike teams in support of the Matthew response. Volunteers were on hand at each step, helping to check in, register, and medically screen AST members.
Matthew created opportunity for MHPC to engage with regional EMS partners on a scale larger than perhaps ever before. EMS partners were mobilized throughout the eastern portion of North Carolina as members of ambulance strike teams. Paramedics from Anson, Cabarrus, Catawba, Cleveland, Gaston, Lincoln, Mecklenburg, and Union counties all worked to support the populations impacted by this event.
After a series of delays and false starts, AST-1 deployed on October 7th. Led by Waylon Newman of Cleveland County EMS, paramedics from Union, Cleveland, Gaston, Catawba, and Lincoln counties deployed as AST-1. AST-1 deployed to Bladen County until October 11th. They were tasked with supporting local EMS agencies.
Soon afterwards, AST-2 deployed on October 11th. AST-2 was composed of members of Cabarrus, Union, Catawba, Gaston, and Lincoln County EMS agencies.
Director Alan Thompson of Cabarrus County EMS led AST-2 on their mission to Bladen County.
Though the storm had passed, AST-2 was still on hand assisting Bladen County EMS with 911 calls.
On the 15th of October, AST-3 deployed to replace AST-2. Members of Gaston, Union, Cabarrus, Catawba, and Lincoln County EMS agencies responded as members of Ambulance Strike Team 3. AST-3 was under the leadership of Brandon Fouts of Cabarrus EMS. Weeks after landfall, Bladen County was still underwater due to river flooding. AST-3 returned home on October 18th.
MHPC volunteers came together in order to support SMSS operations. These shelters, designed to support those in need of medical attention, housed not only patients from affected facilities, but also several who simply had nowhere to go.
EMS and SMAT members joined hospital providers in Benson, North Carolina, caring for 11 patients and 8 family members. This shelter also represented an opportunity to work hand in hand with new partners.
For the first time, MHPC SMAT and Carolina's Med 1 teamed up in Benson, helping to shelter, feed, and care for patients. As the response continued, Novant Health sent nurses, PAs, and physicians in order to provide not only patient care, but also much needed relief for crews already on site.
No disaster would be complete without a plot twist. During Hurricane Matthew, that twist came in the form of flooding in Lumberton, North Carolina, and its impacts on Southeastern Regional Medical Center.
What began as a triage visit to SRMC intended to screen patients for the Benson shelter ended up a separate deployment, splitting the Benson crew in half and sending Med 1 in its entirety to Lumberton.
Southeastern continued to hang on, ultimately decompressing by relocating critical needs patients. Med 1 and staff, together with MHPC SMAT personnel, arrived on scene to provide patient care.
Despite all of the adversity, the crew even managed to take delivery of a pretty important package.
In addition to their role in ambulance strike teams, our EMS partners deployed to Columbus County, North Carolina. During their time in Columbus, EMS crews provided much-needed support to the county, bolstering their EMS services and providing care under challenging conditions. We would like to close this evening by saying thank you. In 2016, you donated 3,132 hours of your time in order to help us function and to help our partners support their communities. That also translates to $68,524 worth of in-kind donations to our program.
With that said, it is not about the dollar amount. Volunteer response work is frustrating. It's a series of starts and stops, constantly being stood up only to be stood back down. And that's if you're lucky. It's usually meetings, trainings, the routine of its dry, especially when viewed as an endless stream of cots and totes.
The reality, however, is that you, our volunteers, are vital to this organization and provide a service to our regional partners that is not easily replaced. Your time and effort allow us to continue to function. It is not an exaggeration to say that we could not do this without you. In closing, we once again would simply like to say thank you.